Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon Challenge. Last week we changed it up a bit and did a run through Pokemon Heart Gold for the first time in ages, as we sought to see if I could beat it with just a single Baneri. A run that had interesting results. Let's carry on with Rodent month though and head back into Gen 1 and see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow with only a single Rattata. The OG mouse is here. Now then, Rattata. We are amongst the worst Pokemon in Gen 1, with only 7 Pokemon being worse than us. Those 7 being Pidgey, Zubat, Magikarp, and Caterpie and Weedle, plus their next evolutions, Kakuna and Metapod. We do have decent speed and attack, but everything else is bad. 218 base stat total bad. We're mono normal, so weak to fighting and immune to Ghost. Our learn set is, well, we don't get a lot of variety. Quick Attack, Hyper Fang and Super Fang, plus a broken focus energy. That doesn't really help us, but at least there is a lot of stab here. At least we do get Ice, Water, Electric and Ground moves via TM in Bubble Beam, Blizzard, Thunderbolt and Dig. That might be our final moveset, you know. Possibly Body Slam over one of them, I am undecided. Our low special means some of these moves won't hit so hard though. Predictions. Brock is going to be fun at the start. Not. Once we start to get some move coverage, we should be okay to a point, but some of the later fights, I can see us having to be super over leveled to triumph in. The Elite Four are probably going to be rough. I can see Agatha and Lance causing us trouble. The rules. In combat, I can only use Rattata. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs, but unable to fight in battle. Only Pokeballs can be used in battle, and last of all, no glitches or exploits. Plus, I can heal outside of battle if I want to. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe, and ring that bell! I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Pikachu with Rattata, so that I can do the whole run with it. I chose to replace Pikachu because that was literally the only thing I could do, so yeah, it becomes moot. It doesn't matter because the rival has Eevee. Many moons ago, I did Yellow with a single Eevee and tried to give the rival Pikachu as a joke, but it doesn't stick in the game. He will just end up with Eevee again after so long. Anyway, nicknames. I have to screw around with the spelling for a bit, but I nicknamed the Rattata Mighty Mouse because it's going to go and prove to be the strongest Pokemon in the region. We then have to fight the rival, and it doesn't really matter if we win or not because I don't think any particular evolution is going to be stronger than the others. Maybe Jolteon potentially because it has double kick, but there's not going to be much in it. In the rival fight, I look at the damage calculations and I figure we're probably going to 4-hit Eevee and it will 3-hit us. Of course, that would be if it actually attacked and instead it chooses to go for a bunch of tail whips, which actually end up failing, so we can actually 4-hit that with tackle with little consequence. I go training because we've got the Rock Gym up first and we're going to have to be quite high leveled to wear down Brock. We do get Hyper Fang at level 14, so that will probably be a vital move for breaking through his defences. When I do reach that level 14 mark, I go to do the rival fight on Route 22, and I think we're ready for it 1000%. He shouldn't be much of an issue right now, right here. Spearow is first, and we Hyper Fang that down for a one-hit knockout. Now that was easy. Eevee is second, and it actually survives Hyper Fang, which is interesting, but it doesn't try to take advantage of it in any sort of meaningful way, and we can drop it on the next turn with Quick Attack. In Pewter City, it's the time for the Rock Gym, and then we'll have to see how this first effort at this goes. By the time we walk in there, we are at level 17, and I figure we might actually be able to hack into those rock types at this point. Worst case scenario, we have to get stronger. This actually goes pretty well as we begin the battle versus Brock's Geodude. It doesn't have a non-damaging move to fling at us, so we get hit by 2 tackles over the course of the fight that do a decent chunk of our health, roughly about a quarter of it. But we can at least 3-hit Geodude with Hyper Fang, and that is somewhat of a relief. I do worry about how physically frail we are though, but yeah, Geodude soon goes down, and then we have to face the much more imposing figure of Onix. And Hyper Fang duly misses as soon as the fight starts. It is potent, but that 90% accuracy is killer, particularly as this isn't the only time in this fight that move misses. We get hit with a flurry of binds that do decent damage, plus stun locking us. They work their way through our health, as well as it landing a screech that wrecks our defence. I continue to land Hyper Fangs on it, and that's the main thing, that we keep cutting down its health. We are faster, so there is no danger of being caught out by Bide. When Brock does go for that move, it is a small matter to land 3 tail whips on Onix while it is charging up. Then the attack fails miserably, and with that defense drop, we are able to take it out with our next Hyper Fang. Through Mount Moon I go, and eventually, very eventually, nothing important happens here. I arrive in Cerulean City, where it is a choice between Misty and the rival, and I decide that I'm going to go for the latter, because Misty Starmie might be a bit of a rough opponent for us at the moment. This is often a tricky fight, but I'm feeling confident ahead of the rival battle. He begins with a Spearow, and just like we did on Route 22, we Hyper Fang it down for a quick victory. A quick-tory, if you like. Sandshrew is a 2-hit with Water Gun, but it hits us with a Sand Attack, which has the potential to be problematic. I just got that move to give us some coverage for dealing with rock types. His own Rattata is a 1-hit with Quick Attack. Take that, inferior mouse! Before Eevee is last, and it is a simple matter to take that down with a crit Hyper Fang before things get out of hand right at the end. After going around to Bill's cottage, it's time to go and face Misty. And given we've got a bit of a level advantage now, I think we should be fine here. We shall have to see, because I still think Starmie is going to hurt us with that Bubble Beam. Of course, it never actually turns out that way as we face her. Staryu is a 1-hit with Hyper Fang, which I suppose isn't surprising, before Starmie is next. One Hyper Fang does massive damage before it crits tackle, because of course, but even then, it doesn't do that much before we miss Hyper Fang, naturally. Another tackle comes our way, but then we drop it with a 3rd Hyper Fang to give us badge number 2. That went way better than I thought it would. Not much happens until the SSN, when we have our next rival fight. There's not that much of an upgrade in his team between this and the last one, but we've still got to beat him to advance the plot. So let's get down to the task at hand. His Spearow is first, and we drop it with Body Slam for a quick knockout before the Rattata is next. He does land a quick attack on us, but we shrug it off, and then we take it out with another Body Slam. Still inferior. Sandshrew is third. Hey, he's doing a Rodent Moonfall of his own, almost, and we drop that with a Bubble Beam before Eevee is last, and that also gets dropped with Body Slam for victory! Surge is next in the Electric Gym, and this one shouldn't be too hard. We've got Dig, and I think that we will probably hit really hard with it. Probably enough to 1 or 2 hit Raichu. That's my prediction, and we will have to see just how on the money it actually is. Well, when the fight begins, we outspeed and go underground, while Surge drops an X speed on his Raichu. That makes it faster, it misses Thunderbolt because we're still underground, and then we take it out with that crit dig to give us the 3rd badge. Astonishing really the way that played out. There is the trek around to Lavender Town now, going through the rock tunnel, and I try to get through as quickly as I can. While I'm doing this, it seems a pretty good time to bring back the trivia section, because why not? It's not exactly a secret that Rattata got an Alolan form in Generation 7. Before Generation 4, Hyper Fang and Super Fang were its signature moves. It is the signature Pokemon of youngster Joey, one of the more famous Gen 2 NPCs who isn't a rival, gym leader, champion, professor or rocket admin. A lot of its Pokédex entries mention how it likes to gnaw on things, but it can't learn Bite in Generation 1. Kanto Rattata has the lowest base HP of all normal type Pokemon. In the beta for Red and Blue, it was known as Rattatak. I like that. Before Generation 3, it and Rattata were known as the Rat Pokemon before being upgraded to the Mouse Pokemon, a category they share with Pikachu, Raichu, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Pawmi and Pawmo. It is also a starter Pokemon, the only one available in Pokemon Rumble. I have no idea what that is, but it seems a neat fact. On the subject of another Pokemon game that I never played, Rattata is one of the easiest Pokemon to catch in Pokemon Ranger. Anyway, rival fight in Pokemon Tower. I might as well make it there. The fact that it can't learn Bite in this generation still gets me. I mean, to be fair, it's only like Lickitung not being able to learn Lick, I suppose. Anyway, this is the last fight with the rival before his team starts to get really scary, and it's rarely that tricky. Fearow is first, and we drop it with Body Slam. I'll say it again, I've said it before, I'm always curious what happens to it after this fight. Shelder goes down to Thunderbolt on the next turn, before Vulpix is third, and I go for a dig. It misses Ember, we hit that and take it out. Sandshrew goes down to Bubble Beam before Eevee is out last, and we drop that with a Body Slam to give us the victory. So, when you consider how weak Rattata is, stat-wise, I am actually surprised that it has taken me 80 odd challenges to get to this point of using it in a challenge, considering Rodent-wise, I've been through Marill, Pichu, Sentret, Cyndaquil, Buizel, and now to this month, Sandshrew and Baneri, all of which are probably less notorious. Well, Rodent month seemed like a good idea, it seemed like a good time to do it. And there's still a Pokemon Platinum and a Pokemon Black challenge to go at in this month as well, so we've still got plenty of plans. Eventually, I arrive in Celadon and I figure I'll go after Giovanni first before Erica. Might as well, I think. Erica will be a lot harder. Giovanni is never particularly troublesome. I have had like one hard Giovanni fight in Generation 1, all the challenges I've done there. Yellow with Doduo. Try killing a rock sliding Rhydon with flying type moves. I don't recommend it. Anyway, Onyx and Rhyhorn are both one-shots with Bubble Beam before Persian is last, and we recreate Tom and Jerry as the mouse comes off victorious, and we one-shot the Persian with Body Slam, because rats and mice usually end up with such a winning record against cats, clearly. Might as well do Erica while I'm here, so I have a travel over to the Celadon City Gym and prepare to fight the Grass-type specialists. It's weird the comparison between Erica in red and blue and Erica in yellow. She has weaker Pokemon, but at higher levels, so anyway, let's begin the fight. Mighty Mouse uses his body as a weapon and crashes into Tangela with Body Slam, who, I'll actually point out, manages to survive the attack. I always figured Tangela to have decent physical defence, not sure how true it is. It goes for Mega Drain, and then we finish that at the second attempt with another Body Slam. Weepinbell goes down to a single Body Slam before the Gloom is out last. It survives our Body Slam, but gets paralysed. Erica manages to drop a same turn Super Potion, which I always find suspect to say the very least, before we take it out with another Body Slam. As I go through Pokemon Tower, I think it's worth remembering that old rumour about how there was originally intended to be a final boss here that, if you lost to it, then it would drag you to your death under the floor. I don't know how true that rumour is, but I heard it somewhere, so clearly it must be true. I guess. That would have been a very different tonally Pokemon game, I'm sure. Meh, Gen 1 is weirdly violent though in places. You've got Rockets killing Cubone's mother for a start. It'd be like doing Scarlet and Violet if some Team Star member randomly kicks a Flamigo to death. Mind you, I don't think that'd go particularly well for him because it'd probably kick them back. After that, it's the usual debate over where to head next, be it Saffron or Fuchsia, and I decide to make a beeline for Sylph because why not? I usually do. The beautiful thing here is that if we are incapable of beating the rival fight here, we've got a whole other area we can head to train up further. So it's a natural next progression, and besides, there's nothing quite like interfering in a hostage crisis. I mean, there's no police about and Sabrina is being kept in her gym by one lone grunt stood in front of the door, but that aside, everything is a general state of terror. I think in the manga they put like a big glass dome or a big psychic bubble around the city to stop people coming in. For once, the Simpsons didn't do it first. Here to keep people out, they have dehydrated guards. You genuinely could not make this up. I was so proud working out that you could buy drinks and give them to the guards to get through the gates when I was a kid. That was a pretty proud moment because this was pre-internet being what it is now, and you couldn't just go online and see what the solution was. And playground rumours were insane, like the whole Mew under the truck thing, or that you could find a Togepi egg if you met certain circumstances. Those were the days. I always find it worth fighting every rocket grunt in Sylph, since they vanish after Giovanni is beaten and all that lovely chance for experience is gone. I mean, I often find it worth fighting everyone I meet over the course of the journey anyway. It saves on backtracking later. Anyway, before long, I heal up and make the trip to fight the rival on the 7th floor. No time like the present, and this has potential to be a rough fight, even with the level advantage that we've been building. His team starts to get terrifying here, so it will not be easy. Let's do this. Sandslash is first, and I'm not convinced we will hit that with Bubble Beam, but a critical hit proves me wrong in that respect as we drop his Rodent. Next is Ninetales, who goes for a quick attack to deal some damage, but we take it out with Dig to give us a second win. Cloyster is third, and I call for Thunderbolt. Any other generation, bar this one, this would be lethal due to it having low special defence, but here, unfortunately, it has a high special stat. We paralyse Cloyster, Rod uses a same turn potion, and we drop it at the second attempt. Kadabra is fourth, and we take it down with Body Slam before the Jolteon is last. We are faster, we go underground with Dig, it misses double kick, and Dig takes it down. Dig is the same base power as Earthquake in this gen, by the way. While I'm here, let's go for Giovanni at the top of the building before he does something truly heinous. You know, beyond taking an entire building filled with people hostage and general Pokemon related naughtiness. That might be playing down his crimes just a little bit. He starts with Nidorino, and we can reach out and touch it with impunity, since abilities weren't a thing in this game. Hence, we don't have to worry about Poison Point, and we drop it with Dig. Persian is a one hit with Body Slam, Rat 2, Cat 0, before Rhyhorn goes down to Bubble Beam. Last out is the Nidoqueen, and things go interesting here. We go for a Dig, while Giovanni unleashes his signature move of using a guard spec, before Nidoqueen survives the Dig, hits a double kick for a decent chunk of damage, and we have to finish her with Bubble Beam. He then flees with his tail between his legs. While I am in town, I will fight Sabrina because, why not? This fight is a lot harder in Pokemon Yellow than it is in Red and Blue, but as long as we outspeed, we should be okay against Abra and Kadabra. Alakazam could potentially be a very rough opponent indeed. It was absolute king in Gen 1, but as I said, the opportunity for further grinding is there if we can't win. I will make an attempt and see what happens, but either way, we are going to Fuchsia after this fight. Abra, out first, is a one hit with Body Slam. Her next Pokemon is Kadabra, and that is also a one hit with Body Slam. Alakazam is actually faster and goes for Reflect, which means that it survives our Body Slam on under half health. However, Synchronise as an ability isn't a thing yet, and we paralyse it with our attack, which means we can outspeed on the next turn and drop it with another Body Slam. Easy win, moving on. The Safari Zone. Has there ever been a more frustrating area in Pokemon? Limited time and irritating to catch certain Pokemon. I mean, especially in Gen 1, I think it was marginally better in Gen 3. You want to use a Tauros or a Kangaskhan in Gen 1? Good luck. Good if you can get them, especially the former on that list. Tauros was really good in Generation 1, but prepare for pain to get them. And don't even talk to me about Chansey. Mind you, it boils down to the idea that the games really did used to be harder, I suppose. I recently heard a theory on a video somewhere that some of the rarer Safari Zone Pokemon aren't actually native to Kanto, since they can't be found anywhere else in the region, and I find that interesting. Anyway, once we are done with the Safari Zone, we head to the Fuchsia Gym and Koga. This shouldn't be too much of an issue, I suppose. Like Sabrina, he has higher level Pokemon in Yellow, but I suppose I wouldn't say his team is any better. Replacing Muck and Wheezy with Venonat and Venomoth is not a massive step up in my opinion. They just intensify in levels as the rounds go on. But we still have to beat him, so let's get down to business. Venonat number 1 is a one hit with Body Slam. There you go. I wonder how the fight will vary. Venonat number 2 also goes down to Body Slam. Venonat number 3, you've guessed it, also gets one hit with Body Slam. And now Venomoth. It survives Body Slam, what? And hits Psychic, which isn't massively debilitating. So we finish it with a second Body Slam, and just like that, we're 6 badges in. We can head off to encounter Blaine now. Blaine is rarely an issue, but just like Koga and Sabrina, he has a serious level advantage on his team in red and blue, so we really need to be careful for sure, or we're going to get smoked. Literally, do you see what I did there? Oh dear. I'm probably going to lean more on Dig than Bubble Beam in this fight due to our better attack stat than special stat. Anyway, this goes about as much as can be expected. Ninetales is first and we scurry under the ground to avoid Confuse Ray and then take it down with a Dig for a one hit knockout. Out second is Rapidash and another Dig is enough to ensure that the horse is going to the glue factory. 2 down and it's just Arcanine left, but unfortunately the legendary Doggo survives Dig on about a quarter health and hits us well over half our health with Flamethrower, but we end the fight with a Body Slam to gain badge number 7. Once Blaine is out of the way, we've got the final fight with Giovanni at the Viridian City Gym, and bar that Doduo run aside, this is never really too much of an issue as long as we have the moves to deal with him, and we do just that. Some of his team can be bulky and intimidating, but I don't think we'll have too many issues here. The main one is that we do get lost in the gym. In my defence, I was tired, okay? Anyway, Dugtrio is first and goes down to Body Slam for a swift knockout. Persian is second and survives our Body Slam, while Giovanni uses his trademark guard spec, but we take it down with our Bubble Beam for the win. Nidoqueen is next and it survives being hit with Dig, a massive eep there, because what happens next is that we get hit with Double Kick, which isn't pleasant in the slightest, doing about a good third of our health. We finish her though with Bubble Beam. Nidoking's Double Kick would probably hurt more, but it has less defence and we take it down with Dig. Rhydon is last and Bubble Beam absolutely murders it to give us that win and the final badge. Yay! Hey, guess what? We got a rival fight next, and this is just what I need to warm up ahead of the Elite Four. This should give me a bit of a gauge as to where we stand. This fight is a little worrying because it is closer than I'd expect. Our low special is starting to become a killer, and not in a good way. We face off with Sandslash, and it survives our Bubble Beam, which is not good, as it means we get hit with a 4-hit Fury Swipes. That's definitely not good, and we have to finish it off with a second Bubble Beam. Execute is next and we do massive damage with Body Slam but don't take it out, and as a result we get hit with Leech Seed. We do finish it on the next turn, but that is going to be a problem. Ninetales is a one hit with Dig, but we still take some Leech Seed damage. Cloyster is a 2 hit with Thunderbolt, but we get hit with Aurora Beam on top of the Leech Seed damage. Oh dear, see previous comments about Cloyster's special. Kadabra is at least a one hit with Body Slam, so we don't take Leech Seed damage there, before Jolteon is last, and we do manage to take it out with Dig, thanks to being faster, with it missing Thunder Wave in the process. Maybe I should replace Bubble Beam with Blizzard. I'll have to think about it. As I go through Victory Road, let's finally talk about what is ongoing with the channel. I did it a little later today than normal, clearly. I got fed up of doing it at Sylph, apparently. So the regular service continues as we had episode 7 of Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm not repeating any superlatives I've already mentioned about the game. It's a great experience. I'm really enjoying the open world stuff and the story, and the combat is pretty tight too, plus flight. Hey, that rhymed. There was episode 7 of Resident Evil 2 Remake. I've not done much of RE4 Remake in recent days due to feeling under the weather. I mentioned at the end of last week's challenge at time of writing and recording. By the time you hear this, I'll hopefully be over the worst of it. There was episode 16 and 17 of Pokemon Gold Unova. I've not done much of that at all recently, for reasons similar to RE4 Remake, but I need to jump back in at some point because I'm curious where that game is going. I kinda want to do Fire Ash at some point, but we'll see. There was also episode 35 and 36 of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and I've not got too many of those left either, given the series taps out about the 42 episode mark. I need to decide what Zelda I'm going to play next. I've had Twilight Princess suggested, or Ocarina of Time, two favourites, two familiar ones. Majora's Mask maybe, I regret never finishing that before. Wind Waker, one of my favourites. Or maybe I should make another long-awaited stab at Breath of the Wild. We'll have to see. Pokemon Challenge news and Rodent Month continues. Last week was Pokemon Heart Gold with a single Baneri. Next week we head back to Gen 4 as I take the possibly worrying challenge of seeing if I can beat Pokemon Platinum with a single Pachirisu, as I believe that might be a rough go of it. We'll have one more in the month of April after that. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, be they individual challenges or themed ones, then as always, head to the comment section or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. They're lonely places that I'm trying to breathe some life into. Also in the description, if you want to support the channel financially, there's also a link to my Patreon down there. No obligation though. If you want to support the channel in a way that isn't going to cost you money, and you know someone who may like this stuff, then tell them and help the channel grow. As always, thanks for watching folks. Let's head into the Indigo Plateau. Here, in the Indigo Plateau, are our stats at level 73. Speed is great as expected, 30 points better than our attack, which is still decent for what we are, a pretty low status rodent in the world of Pokemon. You've seen one Rattata, you've seen them all. Defense and special are both low. Take your guesses on if we can do it at this level or not right now folks, and we shall start. Lorelei is first, and she is usually pretty horrible to fight. I don't know if she's worse in Gen 1 or Gen 3, but it is a close thing. Some of her team is pretty bulky, and I think we are going to struggle to hit hard. Dugong is a 2-hit with Thunderbolt, but hits us really hard with a crit Aurora Beam, so we are already operating at a disadvantage. Cloyster is next, that survives Thunderbolt, but she goes for the same turn Super Potion, and we drop it with a second Thunderbolt. Slowbro is third, and we do at least one hit crit that with Thunderbolt for a win, before Jinx is fourth. We hit that with a crit Body Slam for a win, before Lapras is out last. We do less than half with Thunderbolt, oh no, and then Lapras ends us with Blizzard. So, I don't think we're doing this here, let's go train. I go and get to level 80 and come back to it, curious if this will make a difference or not. It can't hurt, we might take less damage and dish more out, but is it going to be enough? Let us find out. This nearly goes so badly wrong right at the end. Dugong survives our Body Slam, and then Lorelei uses the same turn Super Potion to get some health back. We finish that off with Thunderbolt to give us the knockout. Cloyster is a 1-hit with Thunderbolt, very nice indeed, before Slowbro comes out next and survives our Thunderbolt this time. It only goes for Amnesia though, and we finish it with Body Slam. Jinx is a 1-hit knockout with Body Slam before it is time to face Lapras once again. We hit a Body Slam and paralyse it, doing over half its health in damage before it fights through paralysis and hits a crit Hydro Pump that leaves us on 19 HP, and that was close. We finish it with Thunderbolt, but wow, too close. Bruno is next then, and this could be interesting. Mind you, I'm not sure how many good fighting type moves were actually in Generation 1, so how hard he's going to hit us I can't possibly comment. Or will he hit us? Let's see. This is a smooth fight. Mind you, it is Bruno. Onyx number 1 goes down to Bubble Beam. Oh yes it does. Hitmonchan is second, and we take it down with a single Body Slam, which I am pleasantly surprised about. Hitmonlee is third, and again 1 hit from Body Slam for a knockout. Onyx number 2 comes out fourth, and we blast it with Bubble Beam to take it down. Last is Machamp, and we crash a Body Slam into it for massive damage, plus we paralyse it. Now, the Guts ability isn't a thing here, even if it did attack, and it doesn't. It chooses to go for Leer before we finish it with Bubble Beam from low health. 2 down then. Agatha is third, and this has potential to be interesting. We might do really well, or we might struggle. I think we'll be fine once Golbat goes down, because there is a possible huge issue with using Dig on Agatha's Ghost, that she likes to switch into Golbat to make Dig not work. It's annoying. Anyway, Gengar number 1 goes down to dig, failing with a Confuse Ray. Thankfully, she doesn't switch into Golbat and we hit it with our dig for a win. Next is Golbat, and since I can't do it to too many of her team, I smack Golbat with a Body Slam. It survives, she uses the same turn Super Potion, and we then go for the finisher and take it down with Thunderbolt. Haunter is second, one of the few Pokemon that had a better red and blue sprite than yellow in my opinion, and we take it out with Dig. Arbok is fourth, and we're on the roll now. We take it down with Dig. Gengar number 2 is also a one hit with Dig, so that was smooth. Lance then. Wonder how this one might play out. He can possibly be tricky based on the team he has, but we shall see. I'm going to stick with this moveset and see how this plays out. I mean, worst case scenario, we have to go and get stronger. We be in the fight versus Gyarados, and I have a completely mad moment where I go for Body Slam. You know, forgetting the fact we have a quad super effective move. We get smashed with a Hydro Pump for big damage, taking it down on the next turn with Thunderbolt, but the damage is done. Dragonair goes down to a single Body Slam, which is handy for sure, before we do the same thing in the next round to the next Dragonair. A single Body Slam, taking that down. That's a good chunk of the fight down before we blast Aerodactyl with a crit Thunderbolt to take that down. That's good. Just his Ace Dragonite left, and we've got slightly under half our health left. We smack it with a Body Slam, it does just over half, and then we get taken down with a crit Blizzard. That was unfortunate, massively so. I do a bit more training before making my fight through the Elite Four once again. We get back to Lance at level 85, and I need to remember that we have that super effective move on Gyarados this time. That might help me massively, I'm not going to lie. The extra training is just for the rival at the end because I am worried. This time we one hit Gyarados with Thunderbolt, and it's good because it means we come out of the fight at full health. Plus no intimidating this generation, which is handy. Dragonair number 1 and number 2 are taken out in the exact same fashion this time as they were on the previous attempt, both of them being one hit with Body Slam. And Aerodactyl is fourth. We blast that down with a single Thunderbolt to make it extinct once again, and then it's Dragonite. We hit Body Slam for about 2/3, paralysing it, and then it launches Fire Blast at us. I figure we only have problems here if we get burned, and thankfully we don't. It does crit us, but we have enough health left to survive, and we take it out with a second Body Slam. Phew, we are done. Just the final rival fight left then, and we've got to gather everything we have left and go at him. I'm not going to lie, I am worried about his team. There's some bulk on there, so we'll have to be careful. Let's make a try and see what happens though. Up first is Sandslash, and we fire a Bubble Beam at it, and I'm relieved when we get a fortunate crit to drop it hard, because that could have been worrying otherwise. Alakazam is second, and we take that down with Body Slam to give us a second win in succession. Round 3 is versus Executor, and this is where our luck really kicks in a gear, as it survives our Body Slam, but misses Leech Seed on us. Oh yes! And then we take it out with a second Body Slam. Cloyster is a one hit with Thunderbolt to put us 4 up before the 5th choice is Ninetales, and we drop that with Dig, leaving him with just his Jolteon left, and it tries to Thunder Wave us, but we are faster, and we take it out with Dig to give us the win over him in our final battle. Just like that, we win the run, we enter the Hall of Fame. Our Rattata is proved to be in the top 1% of Rattata, sorry youngster Joey, in the region, meaning that we are done. That was intriguing. I expected it to get a bit rough at the end, but it turned out to be nothing we couldn't handle. Thanks for watching folks, I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you did, please leave a like and a comment, it's good for the algorithm after all. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe too, help the channel grow. If you want to come and associate with me in other media, you can follow the links in the description to my Twitter and my Discord. Trying to do more with both of those. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as we see if I can beat Pokemon Platinum, which is a single Pachirisu, which I think is going to be absolutely brutal if I'm honest, but we will see. So then, outro time. What's going on with me? I felt better for the most part, which is good. Plus, at the time of the release for this, it was my birthday a few days earlier, which was nice. I guess anyway, I'm writing it in advance, and I've had some massive downers around my birthday in recent years. I feel like this year might be different though. Hope I'm right. Sorted my holiday out. I'm headed for a week in Croatia at the end of May, so yeah, there's likely not going to be a challenge that week for obvious reasons. Going quite near to where they filmed part of Game of Thrones, and my girlfriend's already suggested going to that area. I'm down for that. It's something to look forward to. A chance to get some R&R. So yeah, only about 6 weeks to go. Going to jump out here, folks. Thanks again for watching. As always, this has been Once a Future Gamer, and this has been Pokemon Yellow with just a single Rattata. Take care now, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye now, so long, see ya, au revoir.